launching that course in partnership with lots and lots of others, not just the Wildlife Institute and the Smithsonian, but others from World Wildlife Fund, Wildlife Conservation Society, Smithsonian, and a whole host of others from India and elsewhere. That's one thing I would also point out here about this whole idea of partnership. The thing that gives me hope, as Eric alluded to, there was a lot of controversy at the beginning, a lot of sort of negative things that were being said, and we're about partnership in general. The Smithsonian views itself as an honest broker, as a partner across organizations, and I'm really heartened to see that other NGOs have stepped up to recognize that this is something that they can be part of. We don't own the program. The World Bank doesn't own the program. Really, we're creating a framework for partnership, and we want others to join in with us. And we'll be judged by whether we're successful or not on that measure. Executive leadership training is another thing that we think is very important, because we need to empower decision makers to understand the value of conservation, to understand the value of tigers and landscapes that tigers inhabit. And so we want to focus on that. So we will also be doing a series of executive training workshops that are much shorter duration, that will be bringing in sub-ministerial type level folks that will come in for a week and hopefully become engaged in what we're trying to do and hopefully buy in to that programming as we move forward. And then the last one would be relevant to all of you, and we've been asked to think about the idea of creating some short-term training programs that might actually work for the World Bank or for other institutions, as far as bringing to bear the importance of biodiversity in terms of development and how that might be integrated in a way that makes sense. So that's a quick summary. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Stephen. Mahendra?
Thank you. When I was practicing tiger conservation in Nepal, probably a decade ago, I had not a realization that there is so much of international support in tiger conservation. And as I started doing my PhD research on tigers, then I started witnessing the level of support that exists around tiger conservation. And after joining Save the Tiger Fund, I did get opportunity to work closely with the champions like John Seidensticker, Eric Dinstein, and so many other who has led tiger conservation efforts all these years, and also people working on the ground in tiger range countries. So I do realize that, and also everybody hopes that there is a huge and humongous hope to recover tiger population. And again, it is very, very nice to learn the deep interest that the World Bank has with the leadership of Bob Jalik and Keshav and his team is steering this Global Tiger Initiative. It has really invigorated the hope among the tiger range countries, for moving forward their efforts in tiger conservation. And definitely tiger, it's not only maintains the ecosystem health, but also it is recognized and revered as the powerful and mystical creature in many, almost all the tiger range countries. So, but unfortunately, its population has been declining over the decade. So definitely there has been, some serious works being done through, various scientists, and now we have a better understanding what is required, to save tigers. And, although we have been hearing, bad news all the time, like, all the population centers, they have declining population, but, there is a hope. There is, as Eric earlier mentioned, that there is still 1.1 million square kilometer of good tiger habitat left. And also, ecologically, tiger can breed very profusely provided their habitat is protected and they have plenty of food to eat, like the prey population. In this Global Tiger Workshop that was held in Kathmandu recently, that basically brought all the tiger range countries, 13 out of 14 tiger range countries, and almost all the conservation community together to discuss how we can move forward on tiger conservation. And thanks to the World Bank and GTI to initiating this process. And definitely in Nepal, since I'm from Nepal, I can speak, a little bit about the strong political commitment that we witnessed during the workshop. And the president, the prime minister, the ministers, and all the senior policy-making officials in government of Nepal, they expressed their deep interest and commitment during the workshop on tiger conservation. And the Global Tiger Workshop in Kathmandu was a gathering of practitioners and senior officials who are engaged in policy making, and they basically discussed about identifying the urgent action that will change the game in tiger conservation and starts the tiger recovery as soon as possible. And definitely the GTI and the other partners who has been working closely with the GTI, I think the GTI has a very important role to bring all the players together. Definitely Save the Tiger Fund. As I've been working there for the past 5 years now. We have been trying to bring all the players together, but we were in a small scale. But Global Tiger Initiative, they can bring all the tiger range countries and conservation communities and other countries that are interested in tiger conservation together to have a collective action. And definitely tiger has become a very conservation-dependent species because of the various threats like poaching and loss of habitat and encroachment and whatnots. And definitely many conservation community, they thought that development organizations like World Bank, they just care about development. But definitely, I do understand and do learn. I have started learning that it's sustainable development together with a healthy ecosystem that is very important to maintain the human health is important, and that is recognized duly by the World Bank. And there are some challenges ahead of us because we heard from the government of Nepal who declared that they will be declaring an additional 950 square kilometer of tiger habitat as a protected in Nepal, which they did just recently last week as a separate new national park when they had a cabinet meeting at the base of the Mount Everest to attract the global attention on climate change. But they did declare those, and also they expressed interest on creating a wildlife crime control bureau and also enhancing regional cooperation by establishing a secretariat in the South Asian region. But at the same time, the challenge is to bring a sustainable support mechanism. It's in terms of technical support and also the financial support. Definitely, there has to be a strong commitment from the tiger range country government, but tiger conservation cannot be done by those countries alone. So definitely the world community needs to come together to support them. And World Bank definitely is a very good convener to bring all the key players together. And the Kathmandu Global Tiger Workshop and also the workshop that we had in Pattaya, Thailand, that addressed mainly on the crime issues and the illegal trade and trafficking issues. But at the same time, we are trying our best to bring the necessary ownership from the tiger range country on the Global Tiger Initiative and also the tiger conservation as a whole. Definitely we are creating the necessary political will through the Kathmandu workshop and also the Asian ministerial meeting in Thailand that will be held in January, later in January, and also the Tiger Summit in Vladivostok, Russia. But we need to be very careful. If we want to maintain the trust and also make our initiative effective, we need to be very careful and we need to bring the necessary sustained support mechanism there. And without that, it's just mere promise and just talk, and it doesn't work. So and also Eric and many of us we have been working on this landscape scale of tiger conservation, but